The cafe was modest, a neighborhood place with mismatched furniture and strong coffee. Nothing like the upscale venues where proposals typically happened. Mia Sanders sat alone at a corner table, nursing her latte and scrolling through her phone, trying to calm her nerves. At 26, Mia was a kindergarten teacher who'd been single for over a year after her last relationship ended badly. Her best friend had set up tonight's blind date, despite Mia's protests that she wasn't ready, wasn't interested, and definitely didn't have time for dating. Just meet him once, her friend had begged. If it's terrible, you'll never have to see him again. So here Mia sat, wearing a red dress she'd borrowed because her friend insisted she looked nice, waiting for someone named Ethan, who was already 15 minutes late. She was about to leave when a man walked through the door carrying an enormous bouquet of white daisies, not roses, but her actual favorite flower that she'd mentioned casually to her friend weeks ago. He was probably in his early 30s, handsome in an understated way, wearing jeans and a jacket that somehow looked both casual and expensive. He spotted Mia, and his face lit up with a smile that seemed genuinely warm. Mia. I'm Ethan. I'm so sorry I'm late. Traffic was impossible, and I wanted to get these flowers, and the shop was in the opposite direction. He presented the daisies with an almost boyish enthusiasm. You brought flowers? To a first date at a coffee shop? Is that weird? I can take them back if it's weird. I just thought, your friend mentioned you loved daisies, and I wanted to make a good impression. Mia found herself smiling despite her initial skepticism. It's not weird. It's sweet. Unexpected, but sweet. Ethan sat down across from her, and for the first hour, their conversation flowed easily. He was funny, asking thoughtful questions about her work with children, sharing stories that made her laugh. He didn't brag about himself or dominate the conversation. He actually seemed interested in getting to know her. Then things got strange. Mia. I need to tell you something, Ethan said, his expression turning serious. I haven't been completely honest about who I am. Mia felt her guard go up. Here it came the revelation that he was married or unemployed, or some other deal breaker her friend had conveniently failed to mention. I'm not just Ethan. My full name is Ethan Kraus. I'm CEO of Kraus Technologies. I'm fairly wealthy. Actually, very wealthy. I didn't mention it initially because I wanted you to get to know me as just Ethan, not as my net worth.
Mia
Stared at him. Ethan Kraus? The billionaire? You're joking. I'm not. I know it sounds insane. Your friend knows my sister. That's how this setup happened. I asked her not to tell you who I was because I wanted one conversation where someone saw me instead of my bank account. Mia pulled out her phone and quickly searched his name. Images appeared Ethan Kraus at charity galas, at business conferences, and financial news articles. The man sitting across from her in a neighborhood cafe was worth an estimated $3 billion. This is a prank, Mia said, standing up. This is some elaborate prank my friend set up. There's no way a billionaire CEO is on a blind date with a kindergarten teacher in a coffee shop. It's not a prank. Please sit. I can prove it's really me. But Mia was already gathering her things. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm not interested. Tell my friend she got me good. Very funny. She walked out, leaving Ethan sitting alone with the daisies. What Mia didn't see was Ethan following her outside, watching her walk down the street, then making a phone call. The next morning, Mia woke to a knock on her door. A delivery person stood with another enormous bouquet of daisies and an envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. I know you think last night was a prank. It wasn't. I'm very real, very serious, and very interested in getting to know you better. If you'll give me one more chance, meet me at the same cafe tonight at 7. I promise I can prove everything I told you is true. Ethan. Mia threw the note away, then pulled it out of the trash, then threw it away again. But by 6:45 that evening, curiosity won. She found herself back at the cafe, telling herself she was just going to confirm this was an elaborate joke and then never speak to her friend again for putting her through it. Ethan was already there. This time he'd brought someone else, an older woman whom Mia recognized immediately from news coverage. Maria Cross, Ethan's mother and board chair of Cross Technologies. Mia, Ethan said, standing. This is my mother. She's here to confirm I am who I say I am, because I needed you to believe this is real. Maria extended her hand. My son has talked about nothing but you since last night. He's convinced you're the most genuine person he's met in years, and he's terrified. You think he's running some kind of elaborate hoax? I'm here to confirm he's not. He really is Ethan Cross, and he really does want to get to know you. Mia shook her hand numbly. I don't understand. Why would a billionaire be interested in me? Because you saw him as Ethan, not as a bank account, Maria said simply. That's rare in his world. Rare enough that he brought his mother to prove his identity to you. She smiled. I'll leave you two to talk. Ethan, don't mess this up. After Maria left, Mia and Ethan talked for hours. He explained his world, the constant suspicion that people wanted him for his money, the loneliness of never knowing who genuinely cared about him, the exhaustion of performing wealth and success while craving simple, human connection. Mia told him about her world working with children, barely making rent, student loans, the simple joy of her job, despite its financial limitations. Our lives couldn't be more different, Mia said. Maybe that's why this feels real. You don't need anything from me. You were ready to walk away because you thought I was pranking you. That's refreshing. They dated carefully over the next weeks. Mia insisted on splitting bills, refusing expensive gifts, maintaining her independence. Ethan appreciated her boundaries, never using his wealth to overwhelm or impress her. Then, 6 weeks after their first date, Ethan did something that shocked everyone. He showed up at the same cafe where they'd met, at their usual table, and knelt down in front of Mia with a ring. This is insane, he said. I know it's too fast. I know you're going to think I'm crazy. But I've spent 6 weeks getting to know you, and I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Mia Sanders, will you marry me? Mia stared at him, stunned. We've been dating for 6 weeks. I know. You're proposing at a coffee shop. I am. People are going to think this is another prank. Let them. I don't care what people think. I care about you. I want to spend my life with someone who sees me, who challenges me, who doesn't care about my bank account. I've wasted years dating people who wanted my money or my status. I don't want to waste another day pretending 6 weeks isn't long enough when it's been more real than any relationship I've ever had. Mia looked at this man kneeling in a coffee shop, proposing after 6 weeks, defying every conventional rule of dating. This is crazy, she said. I know. We barely know each other. Then let's spend the rest of our lives fixing that. Say yes. And somehow, impossibly, Mia heard herself say, yes. At their wedding 6 months later, still fast by conventional standards, but slower than Ethan had wanted, Mia gave a speech about pranks, proof, and unexpected proposals. 8 months ago, I walked out of a coffee shop convinced a billionaire CEO was pranking me by pretending to be interested. He brought his mother to prove he was real. 6 weeks later, he proposed in that same cafe, and I was sure he'd lost his mind. Everyone told us it was too fast, too impulsive, too unlikely to work. They were probably right. But sometimes the craziest decisions are the most honest ones. Ethan taught me that love doesn't follow timelines or logic. It follows truth. And the truth was, from that first night, I'd found something real. 6 weeks was long enough to know. 6 years wouldn't have made me more certain. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment about a time when something seemed too good to be true, but turned out to be real.